listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always, man. And you're riding with us here inside the Hall of Fame. On 975-925. And guys, I just want to say Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Everybody out there, man, especially all the super chatters, man. Happy New Year to you guys. You know, man, I'm ready for this year, man. I'm ready to get back. Last year seemed like it went so fast. It went so fast, man. This year I'm ready to kick it off. And I'm ready to kick it off right. Actually, I got a statement here, a prepared statement that I wanted to read.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
To 2023 here inside the Hall of Fame. I, as well as Brad Gilmore, will not be mentioning AEW here inside the Hall of Fame ever again. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's fake news. I'm just playing. I'm still gonna be talking about AEW. I just want everybody out there know I ain't gonna stop talking. That was like one of them Donald Trump prepared statements too. You know what I mean? Where you don't even know how to read your own words.
Staring at a blank piece of paper. I prepared a statement.
But no, man, I just want to let everybody know, man, that I don't hate AEW. I made a statement about Jay Cargill last week. And like you said, Brad, they were going to take it. They were just going to post it. They were going to plaster it up there after all the goodwill that I did. They weren't going to say anything about the goodwill. They were just going to post something negative about me saying something about AEW. But my thing is this. I challenge anybody, all the listeners, I challenge you guys to find one bit of hate coming from Booker T said about AEW. Just one bit, which is just one little piece of hate that I've had towards AEW. And I don't think, I challenge anybody to find, I don't think they can find it. I really don't think so.
I think they'd be hard pressed to find it, BT, to be honest with you.
I'm serious.
Well, but here's the thing too, is like one man's hate is another wise man's criticism, right? So you might be perceiving as what I'm telling you or what I'm saying about AEW is hate, but other people might say, you know what? Booker's got a point. Like Dax Harwood, I think, said that, right? Yeah. Like everyone's like, oh, they're talking about Booker T and Jim Cornette say they hate this or hate that. I actually sit and I listen to them and think, well, okay, what are they saying? Is it true? Can I use it? Is it construct? You know what I mean? Like, so one man's hate's another person's criticism. I have a feeling in 2023, AEW, WWE, all of them are going to give us plenty to talk about. I'm not worried about that. But did you have a good New Year? Did you spend it well? Were you relaxed?
No, man. You know, I always try to bring the year and laughing. You know,
right.
With that comedy show at the Smart Financial Center out there in Sugar Land. And got a chance to see DL Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, DC Young Fly, Mike Epps. He was hosting the party. And, man, I got a chance to go out and just laugh, man. That's what I like to do, bring the new year in, right? And my thing is, if I'm laughing at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna be laughing at the end of the year.
Hell
so
yeah.
That's the way I try to look at it. So, yeah, man, I had a good time. I parked the RV down Delamere RV Park down in Galveston, and just sit on the beach and just kicked it, man. Like I say, man, ain't nothing like, hanging out on the beach at 3:00 in the morning. I'm serious. Ain't nothing like it. Being away from everything. When I say everything, I mean everything, man. It was awesome. Literally refueling, getting myself ready for 2023 because it's getting ready to kick off. It's getting ready to pop off big time in 2023. And I got to get back to work. NXT duties start tomorrow. My thing is that job was only supposed to be until the end of December. But like I say, what's that kid's name that used to work there?
Wade Barrett?
Yeah, Wade Barrett. He's gone and forgotten, as you can see.
So wait, yeah, you are right. I'd like to ask this, and you can either say something to it or not. It's up to you. But you were only supposed to be at NXT through the end of December.
Yeah.
That was always you said that on this show.
Yeah.
Right? That you're going to be there through December. We're in January 2023. You said you're returning to the desk tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did they ask you to stay longer?
That's my job now. That's my job. Full
So
time.
are you permanent?
I'm full time now. I'm full time on NXT. All right. I'm gonna be in your ear. All up in your ear. Like my boy. You know what I'm saying? Every Tuesday. Who was that? Yeah. Max, brand new flavor in your ear.
Yeah.
We gonna be all up in your ear every Tuesday night. So yeah, man. Wade Barrett, I don't know if they're gonna keep him on. Find a spot for him over on the, Raw, SmackDown or something. But his ass ain't coming back to NXT.
So he's done.
He's finished. He's wrapped.
They hit him up and they said, "I'm afraid I got some bad news."
Bad news for you. Booker T has stole that spot. And I told you guys I was going to steal it. You don't give me a job and expect for, somebody to come. I'm like Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Once I get in the game, man, I ain't coming out.
Sorry, Bledsoe.
I'm serious,
Gonna have to ride the pine on this one, brother.
I'm and the thing is, it wasn't something that I was expecting or anything like that, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this new venture.
Hey man, well, that's great news. That's a great way to start off 2023. I did not know that, so we can confirm that the Booker T is going to be sticking around on the NXT commentary desk here for the future. Yeah. And you know what? It's only fitting. Right now. Let's be honest. The reality of wrestling and your expert tutelage really represents wrestling right now.
You know what? I agree with you, but a lot of people out there don't even know about reality wrestling. So for the ones who don't know about reality wrestling, I ask you guys, all of my people in the chat who know about reality wrestling, spread the word, man. Because I got a small little company, but it's definitely like Brad said, as far as putting young people on the map, giving them a shot as far as to be able to live out that dream. That's what we do at reality wrestling. You can hate on me all you want. All right. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you right now, reality wrestling has produced a boatload of talent, and we just getting started. We're close to that 20-year mark, and then, like I said, a lot of guys don't know about reality wrestling and what I'm doing down here in Houston, Texas. And like I say, that's trying to produce the next generation of superstars, talent. So yeah, get on board with reality wrestling, guys.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we got champions represented on every major company pretty much. I mean, you have some in WWE, obviously, with Roxanne Perez and the Usos repping the Unified Tag Team Championships. Athena is over there representing for the Ring of Honor. We did, just up into this last week, have representation in AAA. Sammy Guevara was a champion over there in AAA. Not no more. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He was repping the row, right? The training is through the roof. High-class organization, if I do say so myself. And you know what? They got to know. If you don't know, now you know. 23 is the year to get on because, look, we can only be the best-kept secret in Texas for so long, BT, before the floodgates open. And we're going to have to open Reality Wrestling North, Reality Wrestling East, Reality Wrestling West.
Your floodgates already open, man. I mean, right now we got more students than
ever.
Seriously, right now, reality wrestling is full, and we're looking for more soldiers. Anybody out there that's looking to, find their way into this business and find their way into it the proper way. Reality wrestling is your stop, guys. Check it out. Go to realitywrestling.com soon as you can and get on board. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, The man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shup. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. It's a new year, man. It's a new me. I'm feeling good. You know what was crazy? I still got all my hair. You know what I mean? I lost a dread in the back. One of them got like too skinny. It was like getting pulled on. It broke out, and I saw it on the floor, man. I almost started crying. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's not happening. We haven't hit that mark yet, have we? You know what I mean? But no, man, I still got the dreads. I'm still looking like me right now, man. Every day, man. The struggle.
I have a question about dreads. So does it because they're tightly wound, right? So does it pull back on your hair? Does it cause I guess I'm asking, like, if you have dreads, are you more prone to hairs breaking or splitting or falling out or anything like that?
No, not necessarily.
I know it's a lot of weight.
I think mine is just getting older, as well as I'm getting,
Right.
as well as a lot of weight. But just if you don't maintain it, you know what I mean. It's definitely it won't be there for you. So for me, it's just like a chia pet. Every day I'm watering it, talking to it, telling it, hey, we still got to get to work. We got to work. Got to go to work tomorrow. I mean, so it's one of those type of deals, man. So it's a love-hate relationship. I can't wait to get rid of it. So actually, I was talking to my daughter, when she saw the one piece, and she goes, I go, man, I'm losing it, baby. I think I think it's finally beginning to happen. She goes, what are you talking about, Dad? You're talking about losing your hair? And I go, yeah, she's talking about because you're getting older. I go, yeah, baby. She goes, Dad, don't worry about it. You can rock short hair. I was like, okay, baby. That made me feel so much better, man. I was like, wow, I'm still good with the little one. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that counts, man.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, you know what? Before we get into any really of the news, we already have a few super chatters here for 2023. I do think that we should pay our respects to Don West, who passed away, TNA commentator, passed away at 59 after a battle with cancer. Unfortunately, Don West was kind of the first guy on the desk over there, really, when TNA became, a force. Him and Mike Tenay made a really good duo. He did some managerial stuff, was really instrumental, I know, in the merchandising side of total nonstop action. And from all the pouring of support that I saw, outpouring, no one had a bad thing to say about Don West. I know that I asked you earlier if y'all had crossed paths in TNA, and I can't figure out the timeline. He must have been there, but I don't know if he was managing at the time or what. But Don, again, rest in peace to him and his family. You always hate to see one of the fraternity members, as you've put it before, leave it, and especially 59. That is super young, especially in 2023.
Yeah, man. Cancer, man. It's a monster, man. I mean, sure, everybody's been touched in some way, form, by that disease, family, father, mother, sister, brother, cousin, somehow, And I tell you, man, don't get no easier. Every time Don West was a guy who definitely made his contributions to this business. And one thing about, being in this business, if you can be in this business for a relative amount of time and people don't have bad things to say about you, you're doing pretty damn good. So condolences to his family, and may he rest in peace, man, and have a safe journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, Don West. Well, I do think we should get to our very first super chat of 2023. This is
Do it.
exciting, Book. This is
Do
our
it.
first one.
Do it. Do it now.
Here is our first super chat from 2023. I want to give you one guess, Booker. Who do you think it might be from?
It's got to be the toenail, man. It's got to be the toenail of all toenails.
It's from Cali Toenail. Cali Toenail with the $5 says, Happy New Year. I really just wanted to be the first super chatter, but since I'm here, woo! Charlotte Flair back on top. Let's go. 2023 is referring to SmackDown last week. Charlotte Flair returned from a 7-month absence. 7 months she was off and defeated Ronda Rousey in an unexpected title switch on SmackDown. What do you think of that, Book?
I'm liking it, man. I'm glad Charlotte's back. Beating Ronda, I'm always down for that. So I'm sure somebody gonna say, well, why is Booker's ain't no Ronda now? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I'm glad Charlotte's back. She was definitely needed back just from a star power perspective. People can say what they want to say, but Charlotte Flair is definitely top billing. She's the goods. She's the best in the business right now today. Bar none. Seriously.
Agreed.
That's just the way I feel anyway. And for her to come back, surprised, unexpected. The way she did was pretty awesome as well. Winning the title, immediately coming back, putting her right back in the driver's seat. So yeah, man. I mean, if I was a promoter, I would have did say, you coming back? Can we put the title on you? It's one of those type of deals. You know what I mean? So yes, I'm glad she's back, and let's kick 2023 off.
Well, I'll say this about the about the title change. I liked it. I liked it, the fact that we got the title off of Ronda Rousey. And I'm not saying that I don't like Ronda Rousey as a professional wrestler. I'm not saying that she's bad at her job or anything of the sort. But this run has been uninspired and uninteresting for me.
Well, you know what? You know what it is, though? I think Ronda, maybe she may agree with you.
She might.
Her having that championship, around her waist, I don't think that helped her out at all. You know what I mean? Because when you got the title around your waist, you got to go out there and defend it. You can expose yourself when you're in that position. What I like is Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey from a tag team perspective.
100%.
You know what I mean? If I'm going to work with those two, put them in a tag team, make them the tag team champions, let them beat the hell out of everybody. You know what I mean? And I think that will just put a whole lot more shine on those two, opposed to Ronda, being the world champ as well as, being in a tag team picture at the same time.
I couldn't agree more. I think that putting her back in, I understand why you're going to put the championship on Ronda Rousey. Like, I 100% get it. She's big name.
Ronda Rousey.
Is big name. If I'm scrolling through the television, I'm a casual fight fan even, and I see, oh, look, Ronda Rousey, what is she doing? She's wrestling. Oh, she's a champion. That makes sense. Let me watch. Let me see what she's got. But I think, as you said, it was putting the title on somebody just to have the title on the name and not necessarily thinking if that was the biggest benefit for the talent and for the show. You know what I mean? Like, her in a tag with Shayna Baszler, I buy it. Like, if it was stock, I'm buying it all right now because I see money in there. I see an investment that I'd like to make as a viewer, as a fan of the sport. I want to see where that would go. The women's tag team championships haven't been the most interesting thing in the world since their inception, honestly. And it's because of a few reasons. One, lack of tag teams and lack of television time. And if you can build a division around somebody, you want to build it around that unstoppable heel team. And who better than two chicks who came from the fight game, right, and are here in wrestling? They've got legitimacy around them. We've seen them go as individuals. I think they make a better tag team. And what Ronda doesn't know, which, by the way, not her fault. How long has she been wrestling? Like 3 years, maybe, because she took a couple years off.
Yeah.
So 2-3 years. What she doesn't know, Shayna can help cover up for her because she's somebody who's been there on the daily grind. I like them as a tag.
Well, I don't know how much Shayna can cover for her. Let's just.
I think no. I don't know how I agree with that.
I mean, I'm serious. I think both of them are in the same boat as far as experience go. Honestly, I mean, I don't think Shayna's that much more experienced.
Well, she's ahead of Ronda. I mean, just based
like I
on
say,
matches alone.
like I say, I don't think she's that much further
Okay.
in front of Ronda Rousey as far as experience. She just haven't had a chance to go out there and learn the craft like one would have once upon a time. When you're in a system now, where you kind of like learning on the job training, even though Shayna Baszler had some wrestling experience, it's just like Roxanne Perez. I was listening to her do an interview, and she said, coming into reality of wrestling at 16 years old, learning the wrestling is one thing, but learning to work TV is something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think where Roxanne Perez's advantages are above, so many, because I've been talking to her about, angles, how to play to the crowd, how to make the crowd come into the ring, the little bitty things. And I think, when you're learning, from a system perspective like the WWE has, it's hard to actually get that. You know what I mean? So that's why I say that, taking nothing away from Shayna Baszler. She's a hell of an athlete. But to learn the psychology and the nuances of this business, the small little bitty things, man, you don't just learn it. You got to be taught it. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing I'm saying.
That's an interesting point, because when you think about it, sure, Shayna Baszler or Ronda Rousey, for that matter, has been in a professional sport where cameras are filmed and there's a production element to it and a television broadcast. However, in an MMA situation, they're not looking for the camera angle, right? The camera is finding them. They're not finding the camera. Whereas in wrestling, it's the opposite. You're trying to find the camera. The camera's not trying to find you.
Let me give you an example, a perfect example. You think Kurt Angle would have learned the way he did if he wouldn't have had so many great minds around him talking to him about the psychology of it? Hey, bro, let's not think about wrestling right now. Put this cowboy hat on and let's get a ukulele in your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's figure that out, and then you may understand what the entertainment. So it's literally so it has so much to do with so many little bitty things in order to be great at this. That's why I say someone like Shayna, someone like Ron. I wish I could have them down here at Reality Wrestling, just so I could talk to them about what Black Bart talked to me, what Mantel, talked to me about, those legends, those guys that, really paved the way. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Welcome back. It's 2023, man. And we coming to you, bringing it to you. It's all about the people. Hey, man, we got any more super chatties, man?
We do. But I actually wanted to pick up on something that we were talking about in the last segment that I wanted to make sure that we brought up, because again, and I know this show might be sounding like somewhat of a reality wrestling infomercial. I don't mean for it to, but I saw the same interview that you did about Roxanne Perez. You were talking about how she came into reality wrestling at 16 years old, learning about television wrestling, and how, sure, we're a part of the Texas independent circuit, right? But we're so much different than your regular independent promotion. I'm going to give you the greatest example of all time, in my opinion, of what makes reality wrestling so different and how we're thinking about characters, television presentation more than anything else. And this is, I'm going to give credit to you, Book, on this one, because I didn't see it. And this is one of the great things that I love. I love being around you, Black Bart, your brother when he was working with us, Bruce Pritchard, that is, like anybody who has this worldly knowledge of this sport. When I don't see something and then it ends up working out, I love it. And this is what it was. You called me in your office. It was a show day, and we had a tag team in there. La Familia is the tag team. It was Jonathan Vega and Diego de la Cruz. And you said, Brad, I just found out Diego plays the accordion. And you said, wouldn't it be great if he came out to the ring playing the accordion? And you said it to me, and I go, I don't know, Book. I don't think I like the sound of that. I'm thinking that kind of sounds stupid. In my mind, I'm like, this kind of sounds stupid. I was like, I don't feel it. You're like, come on, man. That would be great. It'd be great. And I think I could tell that Diego wasn't feeling it either.
He hated it.
Right? He hated it. And I think that's why you brought me in, because you thought I would have automatically jump on it, right? And be like, oh, that's a great idea. I didn't see it yet. Fast forward, however many years later, 3-4 years later, when Diego de la Cruz walks through the curtain and they hear the da-da-da-da, the whole crowd gets up for it. They're like, yeah. And then he does this da-da-da-da-da, and then
his music hits.
Then the music hits. But it's such a moment for the fans, right? And he's not taking a bump. He's not cutting a promo. He's not doing a move. But he's giving the fans a moment. And that is something that you learn. You don't learn anywhere else.
And he's representing his heritage.
Right. All at the same time.
I mean, people might look at that instrument and, from certain perspectives and say, man, what does he got that for? But, his people know exactly, what that instrument is all about. And some of them carry it around in their bag because they're going to a party or somewhere and they got to spice the party up. You know what I mean? So I'm serious, man. So for me, I'm always thinking about, just like when I talk about championship names, about someone having a championship name. If you want to make it to that next level, you got to really be thinking about these certain things. It's a reason why I didn't come out to rap music. And, we chose that Harlem Heat, hard beating music, just so the fans, every one of the fans in that arena, or that, bingo hall, wherever it may be, they will be rocking. And they would say, oh, man, this is all of me. And not just the black folks, everybody. So you got to put yourself in position when in this business, opposed to just thinking about, how many matches you can have. And I see a lot of that talk today, as far as, having great matches. And having great matches is something that I always want to do. You know what I mean? But I want to, make this career thing work out for me. And at the end of the day, I want to make some money to be able to fall back on, hopefully one day, so it's never been a game. It's always been a job.
And the thing is, looking at it from that perspective, I think it's the best perspective to have. Of course, you want to have fun. Of course, you want to enjoy what you do. Anyone wants to do that in any career, right? I mean, even if you're a politician, you want to enjoy what you're doing.
I've been all over the world. I've been all over the world. First class, baby. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing about it is too, like some people like say that they think they've got it all figured out, right? Like they've mastered it. And I think what you learn in this industry and what I learned, like there are certain things that I'll hear said on a Raw show from or on SmackDown from Michael Cole. Like I'm talking about as a commentator for reality wrestling, I hear another commentator and I'm thinking I know what I'm doing out there. And then I hear Michael Cole do something. I go, oh man, I see how he just did that transition. Oh, and he layered this story in with that one and dovetail, and you pick up on things because it just comes with repetition. You're never going to master a craft. You're never going to understand it 100%. But I think part of what makes this so much fun is continuing to get better at it and learning about it, but also, like you said, treating it with the utmost seriousness because this is our job. This is how we're trying to make a living. We can't go around and play wrestler, as you say, or can't wait to share the ring with or what have you. It's like we want to go out there and do our job and do our job well. But the metric, the litmus to know if we did a good job is by how that crowd reacts. And if that crowd can react and have their moment, and they could say this, man, all those matches were great. That was really cool. But you know what my favorite part of the night was? When that guy came out with the accordion. That was my favorite stuff of the night. Oh, man, it was so cool. I didn't expect to see that. Yeah. That's what it's all about, giving them that moment.
Yeah. I mean, wrestling has never been about the wrestling for me. It's always been about the entertainment. Even since, excuse me, ever since I was a little kid. I used to love watching those guys entertain me on the weekends, watching that little black and white, television when I was out there fishing with my stepfather, you know what I mean? And had a truck and had a television on in the truck and the camper, Man, I loved it, man. I loved watching Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, and the Rat Pack, Ted DiBiase, and those guys, man. They entertained me to the point to where I was either, I was either happy or I was sad, or I was ticked off about something, and that's what I think. That's what good wrestlers do. You know what I mean? They think about that when they go out and perform.
Yeah, you have to think about it, man. We have some super chats though to get to. Let me get to this one right now. This is from FBGM Loso. He's got 2 back-to-back, so I'm going to read them. Ready to put the work in. Happy New Year, fellas. And then he says, any new ideas for the channel in 2023? Almost at 700,000. We were just talking about how many subscribers we were up to. Do you have any new ideas that you'd like to share, Book? Anything?
Actually, it's in the works. It's in the works, but coming to the channel soon. We're going to be bringing boxing on a weekly basis to the Reality Wrestling channel. So guys, get ready for it. Front Row Productions is going to be presenting, some awesome exhibitions in the art of pugilism. So guys, let's get ready for that. It's going to be kicking off here really soon. We got to get that channel subscription up to 1 million, and that's what this is for, guys. So let's get ready, and let's get ready to take over in 2023.
That's huge, man. So we're gonna have boxing. I mean, can we possibly produce, even if they're once a quarter, some Cooker T segments? Because if people want the Cooker T,
but we get some Cooker T segments, and I know it's there's a huge audience out there for all women's wrestling. So we're going to be bringing you guys some of the most exciting all women shows in 2023 as well. As you know, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Hai Yun, she just received the brand new Diamonds Championship. And it's and one thing about reality wrestling, when you got a title around your waist, you got to go to work, baby. You got to defend it. So let's look forward to some great ladies, all ladies shows in 2023 as well.
Yeah. Diamonds are forever. Yes. More shows from that. So yeah. Hey, look, guys, also, if y'all have ideas of stuff that you would want to see on this channel, if you have an idea like, man, I wish Booker would sit down and do this, or I wish they would do that or this, send us an email, leave us a comment, send us a tweet, let us know what you want to see on the channel, because look, what Booker said, it's all about the people.
It's all about the people. It's all about
the people want it, we'll give it to you. Right?
Yep.
We have another super chat here, I believe. Hold on, let me get to it. Yes. This is from DJ 1491. Mandy made $1 million off of fan time in December. Do you think she still made the wrong decision leaving WWE? That's a lot of green ducats.
$1 million is a lot of money. But like I say, $1 million ain't gonna take care of you for a solid year if you live in Lodge.
Yeah.
Not 1 year. Not 1 year, $1 million is not going to take care of you if you live in Lodge. If you got one of these, nice rides and a nice home, and all that stuff, $1 million, I say congratulations, first of all. But the question was, do I think she made the right or the wrong decision? I think she.
Well, the decision wasn't hers.
No. The decision to actually go that route.
Oh, right.
I think it was the wrong decision. And I stand by that, just because I feel like Mandy Rose's talent was so much more than her beauty. I really do. I think she had so much more potential and so, heights to reach, that would have been unbelievable, if she had used that machine in that market properly, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it was a wrong decision, but her making money, I ain't mad at nobody making money. I congratulate her on making money. But I just think, man, she's young and she had so much so much more raw potential than, TikTok photos. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out the shine, checking out the gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, man, I was just watching that a commercial there, man. It seems like so far from the pandemic, man, even though it was just a minute ago.
I know.
Doing the outside show.
Almost 3 years ago, right? In April, May.
Wow. It's crazy, right?
It is crazy. I was just talking to somebody about this. Looking back at the pandemic, and obviously I am not talking about any of the negative things that came along with it, because obviously people lost their lives, they lost their homes, they lost their jobs, all that stuff. But what I was thinking about is I wish I could kind of go back to that time and utilize that downtime way better than I did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had, for probably the only time in our lives, an unprecedented amount of free time to do with whatever we wanted.
Yeah, but it's stressful time. It was stressful. It was a very, very stressful time to where it was hard to think about anything other than, in my book, you know what I mean? I wanted to get a lot done, but you couldn't get anything done. First of all, if you wasn't doing it in the house, you would have to have been totally, in your own zone trying to get it done, as well as you're thinking about, man, when is this going to be over? So I think the time was too stressful to actually even take the opportunity to really do anything. Reality Wrestling did good, though. I mean,
we did.
YouTube channel did very, very well.
It was probably our biggest year for YouTube as far as like 1 year growth.
Yeah. So I think other than I get your point, but I just think it's such a stressful. That was such a stressful time.
But I would love in 2023 if we could just get about 350,000 subscribers.
That's all we need.
And we're to 1 million. Like these little silver plaques are cool, man. But that gold ones?
I tell you what, man, we need to start giving some incentives. All right?
We do.
We need to start giving some incentives. You know what I mean? We might have to, create like one of these Ponzi schemes. If somebody.
Well, hey, let's not talk about this on the air, Book. Let's not talk about it on the air. We can figure this out later.
Wait a minute. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. It's like when Richard Pryor was on that movie, he called his the Trapezoid. That's what we'll call it.
Which movie was that? That wasn't Brewster's, was it?
No.
Which movie was the Trapezoid?
It was Busted Loose or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
The Trapezoid. You know what I mean? Well, just say, for instance, Callie Toenail go out and sign up 20 subscribers.
You see what just happened with this guy, the FTX guy? He's like somewhere in the Bahamas trying to get away from the government. I don't like anything you're saying right now. This has bad idea written all over it.
It's a good idea.
What Callie could do is Callie could go tell 100 people to go hit subscribe, and then those 100 people tell another 100 people.
That's what I'm talking about.
But you're talking about like sign them up. I don't know what that means.
Sign them up. It ain't like they look here. They're gonna get a chance to be a part of the hall. Okay, they're gonna get hall content, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's not illegal. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's a Trapezoid.
Well, if it's not a Ponzi scheme, let's not start off by saying It's like a Ponzi scheme.
It's kind of like, that doesn't mean nothing is nowhere near, actuality or anything like that. Kind of can mean anything, man.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of a criminal. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? Come on now. Hey, I want to ask you something. Before we move on, we do have super chats we're going to get to. We appreciate that. We have some other news that we'll probably make mention of. But before we do that, I had a question for you, because you always said that you would like to watch people who are better than you, right? The greats of the game, to kind of formulate your style around. Like you said, you'd watch the Nature Boy Ric Flair, you watch Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, people like that. When it came to promos, and I'm not asking because I know you get a lot of inspiration from movies, but if we're talking strictly wrestlers, who were people that you looked at promo wise and got some of your, I don't know, not style from, but some of your knowledge on how to deliver a solid promo from?
No one.
You didn't look at anybody and be like, oh, I see what he did there.
No.
No? Oh, interesting.
I
You just kind of felt it.
I just always been a talker. Always, but there again, you said, not to, but it's the only way that I can think, when I do stuff is, through movies,
right?
Through watching someone do it and to be able to try to capture it. Rap songs, I always had some lyrics from some rap song that you wouldn't know it was from a rap song, but it would be, but it was something I always thought about. Promo, you got to be tough, and you got to be convincing, when you're cutting a promo. There again, just like saying, it's all about the people. Having, giving the people something to hold on to is very, very important. You know what I mean? Pulling on the heartstrings when cutting a promo is very, very important. I remember my brother and I in Dallas, had this promo where we were talking about, our mother, was sick, and she had to have an operation, and the only way we can get that operation done was go to work for Gary Hart. Back then, he would take care of it for us. And so many people, they did not want us to join Gary Hart. They started sending money to the Sportatorium. I swear to God, I'm serious. You know what I mean? And that is something there again. You try to make it as real as you possibly can. You pull on the heartstrings. You want to take it to a place to where it's as real as you possibly can feel it, so I think that's just, watching the great, promo guys and, trying to emulate them, but not trying to be like them.
Would you say, let me ask you this, would you say Jake Roberts, was he a good promo?
He was great promo guy, but I never tried to steal anything from Jake because Jake was so different. Jake had his own style, but that's the one thing I think I learned from Jake. You got to have style.
You got to have style. But here's my question. If Jake was, let's say, a part of the reality wrestling locker room, right? Would you say, hey, Jake, you're on promo duty. All right. Can you go over there and coach these guys up? Right. I mean, that's somebody, because again, he's known for his DDT, but he's known for how he could talk somebody into a match. Right. And Jake actually just did some. The reason I bring this up is because he did some on his podcast. And this is what he said. He had a really good quote about that he got from Dory Funk. And Jake was talking about the talent at AEW when he was there. And he said he wanted to work with them on promos. This is what he said. I wish AEW would use me in a position where I could be helping people with interviews, because I know how to do that, and I know how to do that well. I can certainly help a few people that are struggling, and there are a few that struggle. You can always get better on interviews. You're never great. Dory Funk once told me, if you think that you had the perfect match, then you should go backstage, take off your trunks, take off your boots, put them in a pile, spray lighter fluid on them, and burn them. You don't deserve to be in the ring anymore if you think you've had the perfect match. There's no such thing as a perfect match. You can always make it better. Jake says it's the same thing with interviews. Do you agree with that sentiment or not?
100%. 100%. You got to be taught the like nuances. Somebody else it's just like having just like being a boxer. Do you know how hard it would be for a boxer to train himself and then to be able to coach himself through the fight?
Right.
Do you understand? Do you realize how hard that would be?
It'd be next to impossible.
I mean, he would probably have a losing record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he probably would be a really, really good fighter. He probably could be a really, really good fighter. But you got to have that trainer in your corner telling you, man, you need to slip that jab, move to your right, and drop that right hand. All right? Soon as you see him dip, this is that right there, from having that from that outside perspective is so very important for your learning curve. Now, I know a lot of young people these days, they don't believe in that. That's something that they just, he's too old. But it's true. It's just like for me, I always tell, my young wrestlers that when they are cutting a promo, I say, are you right-handed or left-handed? They say I'm right-handed. I say, put the microphone in your left hand and never, because you normally don't use that hand. Your right hand want to move around all the time. You put the microphone in your right hand, you eventually going to move that microphone away from your mouth sooner or later. You know what I mean? So just practice that and see how I feel. And then they'll do it and they'll go, God, man, that made a world of difference. I tell my young people, I say, when you getting ready to formulate your thought, never look at the camera. Always look away from the camera. That way you can think about it. If you look at the camera, you can get caught in the moment and then you get tongue twisted and next thing you know, you forget about your whole thought. You know what I mean? So those little bitty things, you got to be taught that. Otherwise, you can find yourself in a position wondering, man, I don't know. I can't get it. You know what I mean? I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? There again, those are taught. That's not something you just wake up knowing. Guys, you're in the Hall of Fame. This time going by quick today. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Every time I come here, I just have so much fun. I go home and we just can't stop talking about it till we come back.
The whole roster, top to bottom, star-studded guys.
We drove 12 hours from Atlanta. This comes to one miss for the world.
It's one of the premier independent wrestling promotions across America.
It's a well-oiled machine, and there's a lot of good talent. It's very rare on these shows to see so much talent on one show.
The organization that he has right now, I think and truly believe that it's one of the best organizations out there.
Brian Keith is 15 feet in the air! Brian Keith from up top!
A lot of fun, a lot of good athletes, good wrestlers, good family fun.
I've been around with a lot of the other independent groups, but this to me is a very, very top and first-class operation.
Reality of wrestling, one word, heart. And that's what Booker T is bringing to Houston. It's already special.
He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
Can't make it happen without these young people, without the fans coming out and supporting this thing. This is the flagship of Texas wrestling. This is the beginning of something big. It ain't gonna stop.
It's the best damn promotion in the country right now. The best independent promotion in the country. The best talent, the best coach and teacher that there ever was. And this is where it's at right here in the reality of wrestling. Believe that.
Oh my goodness! A Davidson driver!
It's very professional. It's a very good production. Booker's doing it right. I really enjoyed being a part of it.
Oh, what a rush!
The future of wrestling is reality of wrestling. That's the reality of the situation.
I'm Roddy Piper, and you're watching Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. That was like a smorgasbord of endorsements.
It was a lot.
Including the late, great Roddy Piper.
Man.
Wow. Unbelievable, man.
Roddy, for those of you who don't know, we just played, if you're listening on ESPN 975 or 925, we just played a video on our YouTube channel of kind of a bunch of guys who've come through reality wrestling over the years and, kind of putting over the promotion. And that one with Roddy, I remember shooting that one. I was with the cameraman, and that was at the Comic Palooza 2015. It was like May 2015. and I think he subsequently passed like very soon thereafter.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was just because Roddy, when you think about one of the great workers of all time, and again, I don't mean the guy who did the most beautiful arm drag or the head scissor or the dive to the outside, but a guy who would make you believe what you were watching was 100% authentic and real, and knew how to get a crowd not behind him, but against him better than anybody, perhaps in the history of the business. And I mean this in all sincerity. I think the two greatest heels of all time, if you talk about from getting people against you, is Roddy Piper and Vince McMahon, or the character Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
But Roddy, he had so many great one-liners. And even today, sometimes people have stuff that's so good, it sinks into your everyday vernacular. And today, I was even talking to someone on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, well, you you don't throw rocks at a man with a machine gun, right? And that's a Roddy Piperism, right? And he was so great. And I was so thrilled to at least be around him for a moment because he's just one of the all-timers.
No, man. There again, he was another guy who studied the game, what it took to work, at the top level in the main event. He wasn't a guy that went out there and, you thought about his, wrist locks and his, top, his arm bars and, top wrist locks or anything like that. He had like, you didn't think about that. The only thing you thought about is, is how believable Roddy Piper was more than anything. I think that's what I remember about Roddy Piper more than anything. I remember his walk. I remember the look on his face, you know what I mean? The way he would talk, his cadence, stuff like that. In the ring, all I remember is Roddy Piper just kicking somebody's ass. I don't remember him doing anything special at all. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's what really makes a good wrestler, a guy that can go out there and they can make the fans believe in what they're doing.
Yeah, and Roddy did that in bunches, man. Just one of the best. I mean, I think of, obviously today it's very controversial, some of the stuff that he would say and do. But when you go back to the Jimmy Snuka moment, or you go back to any of those from early Roddy, the man kicked Cyndi Lauper.
Well, when I think about the Snuka moment, people think about the coconut, of course, but I think about the intensity. I think about how intense he was and how mad Piper was at that moment and his rage. That's what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a madman, and he made that scene look real as it possibly could be. So I mean, it wasn't a joke. It wasn't anything funny about it. I don't think anybody was laughing during that scene. I really don't.
No.
When you think about it, when you go back and just think about it, I think that was one of the most serious moments one could have had in the business that we're in professional wrestling. But I always say wrestling is to be embellished to what we want it to be. In that moment, Piper say the people are going to believe and remember this moment for the rest of their lives.
And you know what? I hate to be the guy who said, man, when I was watching wrestling, it was just so much better. Man, my era, the Attitude Era was the best thing ever. But there was a sense of, like you said, there was so much intensity, right? So much intensity with Roddy Piper, or with even it was over the top. I remember the Hogan and Andre with Bobby Heenan, Piper's Pit, where Hogan's wearing the cross and Andre tears the cross off his chest, and then Hogan starts bleeding off the chest. He's like, ah, and he's screaming to the heavens, and it's so corny, it's so cheesy, but you believe that they believed it. It wasn't like, hey, let me say this because I know Twitter will pop if I mention such and such. It was, this is the real moment. You know what? I'll use one of yours. As silly as it is, the whole segment, that Christmas Raw was, and you know what I'm talking about, where you look at Cena and you say, don't do it for me. Don't do it for these other guys. Do it for Santa, right? As silly and corny as that sounds, right? When you see the clip, it's up, but the intensity of the moment was authentic. Like I felt it.
I tell you, that quote, that whole quote from that scene, Mick Foley remembers it like it was yesterday. Every time we talk, he quotes that whole thing to me. When I goes, guys, got some bad news. Santa's down, and it don't look good.
For those who don't remember, I think Alberto Del Rio ran over Santa with his car.
Yeah, like when you said that, and the part also, the entertainment part that comes in. What I remember about that scene is, like you said, about Santa, and at the end of that, John Cena goes, "Do it for Santa."
But here's the point. This is the point that I'm making. I think that was like Raw 2015, 2014, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I still remember that. I remember watching it on television. It had an impact on me. Although it was silly and over the top, it was stupid,
yes.
But it made me feel something in the moment, right? I don't remember really, truly and honestly, the last segment, and this is no disrespect to anybody right now. There's been some great moments and promos, but I just wonder if there's one that I'll look at you 10 years from now and say, Book, you remember when such and such did that a couple years ago? Oh, it was so great. I just want that moment again. And I don't know if it's, again, like I'm comparing it and I'm romancing.
No, I think it's true. I mean, that's why I really that's why I critique the young guys like I do, because I want them to be able to find those moments to where they can have those special moments that they're going to look back and, they're not going to have to think about them because the fans are going to always remind them about those moments, and that's that moment right there. I swear, man, I went into that saying, man, we got to make this special. We got to make this something, that their fans are going to remember forever. And as stupid as it's going to be, Santa getting hit by a car, getting run over. You know what I mean? And Santa's down. He could be dead. And to make that work, man, that's what wrestling is. Wrestling is not wrestling. Wrestling is entertaining the fans and having those Stone Cold Steve Austin Booker T moments in a grocery store, as well as the great matches, those 5-star matches that you see, guys had, like Steamboat Savage, that's a match for me. That's a highlight. It's a highlight moment. And I always wanted to be like those guys. I always want to, work at that level, that high level. A Steamboat Savage, I say, man, I got to achieve that. One day I got to have at least one match like that in my career, just one time. That's what I thought about. But I always thought about those guys that went out and entertained at the same time. Those guys that went out and made the fans, laugh and, remember and, cry, that's what wrestling is. Encore, Bravo. It's greatest show on there.
Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, yeah. Phantom of the Opera. I've never seen the Phantom of the Opera. Have you?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces of it. I've never seen it. Yeah. I've seen Romeo and Juliet. I've read it. I saw the movie. Yeah. Hey, we have another super chat here. This is from FEGM Loso, who says, these are suggestions of what he'd like to see on the channel. He'd like to see cooking. So we talked about Booker T. Yeah. He'd like to see gaming. So maybe some video game action from Booker T. Some vlogs.
Video game action on the channel?
On the YouTube channel. This is what he's saying he'd like to see.
I just said I mean, we do the what do you call it? Twitch.
Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, we do the Twitch for the gaming. You know what I mean? We'll figure out how we can get it over on YouTube. But yeah, what else we got there?
And workout sessions.
You know what? I tell you what. I start posting on some of the workout sessions. How about that? I know a lot of people want to figure out how I'm able to stay in shape at this age. Working out is very, very important for me. Hitting the gym, especially these days, man, just stretching is so important. But getting in the gym and training for me on a regular basis, that'll be easy. All I got to do is set the camera up and send it to Brad and let him edit it, and we get it to you. How about that?
We'll do it. I like that. And vlogs, we'll actually have a special vlog that I'm working on coming to the channel. So we will have more vlogs, more workout sessions. Think about gaming. I don't know. It's interesting because our channel, if you post anything kind of outside of wrestling, our audience so far hasn't been big on it, but we can grow that.
Well, right? I'm going to tell you right now, the boxing is going to be a hit because I believe it. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be seeing knockouts. You're going to be seeing guys get the hell beat out of them. You're going to say, man, I got to tune into this on a weekly. So yeah, I think the boxing is going to really make things pop off. And hopefully we can get this little trapezoid working. We can get up to 1 million in no time. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We just rolling down I-45, just having a little fun, man. It's New Year's, man. It's 2023, and I'm just happy I'm still here, man. Hey, guys, little news just broke. On Thursday here inside the Hall of Fame, got a special guest that will be kicking off this new year right here inside the Hall of Fame. And you all know who it is. He's a guy that's very, very flamboyant, a guy that's a jet flying, limousine riding, son of a gun. The man himself, the nature boy, Ric Flair, will be stepping inside the Hall of Fame on Thursday. And we're just gonna be chopping it up, man, talking about the business more than anything, talking about, the longevity of one like Ric Flair. Man, this dude has been in this business for over 40 years, and he's still going, man. He's still going. People talking about, Ric Flair's mortality. It should be well past his expiration date. But I tell you, man, I'm serious, man. The dude is inspiration, man. There's so many different ways. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Social media is the best thing and the worst thing in the world. Because no, seriously, because I even see comments about Ric Flair sometimes, and it's all because of this cancel culture, of people, this Gen Z, that really don't know, the history of, one of like a Ric Flair who did pave the way in so many different ways, who set the standard, on the bar, in so many ways. And one thing about all men, we all have our flaws. We all have our flaws. We all have something that, somebody can look at us and say, oh man, let's kill them off. We all got, don't think, you don't, you know what I mean? So when I see this generation, this culture today of I got you, it's unreal. You know what I mean? It really is. Ric Flair is a guy who should be praised for being that guy in this business for so long and setting a major standard for guys to have to want to hope to be like and live up to, one day. And that is to go out there and, be the greatest world champion you possibly can, for those fans more than anything. And the thing is, I'm sure Ric Flair did it for himself, but it's no way he could have did that without doing it for the fans at the same exact time. You know what I mean? And he put his body on the line. Rick is going to be on the show, but not just Rick. It's so many guys that have put their bodies through, the trenches, and this day and era, this generation do not give them the just due that they deserve. And I just want to say, man, Ric Flair has always been a guy that I respected. I earned that respect, and then to get it back to the point now to where Ric Flair would, call me and say, "Hey, Book, I'm going on vacation to the Turks and Caicos, man. I want to invite you and your wife to come." That's huge. That's huge.
That's a trip, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a trip.
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? For me to have, when I won the world title, Ric Flair, I remember being at the bar and Rick came up to me and he goes, "Hey, Book, I just want to let you know I'm passing the torch to you, bro." And I like, wow, you know what I mean? That wasn't something that I expected. You know what I mean? I was in New York, I don't know, 4 months ago. I'm in the gym working out and at the Plaza Hotel, and I get a text message, come on down to the bar. You know what I mean? I'm like, tell me you're at the hotel. I'm waiting on you, brother. So it's like that, you know what I mean? And that's normal. That's normal with Rick and I. I saw Rick that night and we talked. And I told him I was so mad at him when he pulled the heart attack deal in the match. Nobody's going to tell Rick that. Nobody's going to tell him to his face, "Man, you pissed me off." And it wasn't the greatest thing that I ever saw, just like I told you.
Yeah. I remember we talked about it.
And I can tell him that because I'm his friend. You know what I mean? And I love him. And I want to see him here, and I don't need him playing any jokes like that, with me or the people, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't that great of a joke, and I easily could have not mentioned that or anything, but that's just that's the respect that we have, have for each other and have gained for each other over these years. And like I say, I know there's a lot of people, that say stupid stuff about me, but most of those people don't know me. I know that, and most of those people don't know my heart, what I really try to achieve to do in this life, and that's to make other people's lives better. People, get on this AEW rant, but to make other people's lives better in this life, they say it's not what you do, what they say is what you do, in the middle, of that birth date and that death date, how much work you can get in. And for me to get in as much work as I possibly can, because I've done it. I've had a great time, man. Like I said, I've gone all over the world, but to see my young Roxanne Perez's make it, and then, get in this business and have the head on their shoulders properly to where they understand those pitfalls that they may, fall into. You don't understand how it makes me feel, even, you being around me for what, 10, 11 years now,
10 years, yeah.
And growing and, going to school and, and seeing you prosper, you know what I mean? To now you got to, creating your own family. Kevin Bernhardt been around me since he was like 18 years old. And now, he's, running the company for me. People do not understand, how it makes me feel, to have been able to create something like this, a utopia for life, and everybody need to understand and hopefully want to get on board with something like that, opposed to having Twitter fingers.
Well, hey, I say amen to everything you just said. I mean, as far as the disrespect on social to you or to Rick or to anybody, I mean, it's so out of pocket, some of the things that people will say, but they just do it to get a rise and get attention on it. That you already know, Book, the guy who calls you every name in the book, if he saw you at the airport or he was your Uber driver, he's asking you for a photograph. I can't tell you how many pictures you must have taken with people who have said horrendous things to you on Twitter. You know what I mean? I actually want to make it. Can we find somebody? Can we employ somebody to keep like a record of it?
I'm still looking for it. I don't know if we got anything in the comment section as far as me having negativism towards AEW.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, you ain't even got to put that up as a super chat. That could just be anything. I'm trying to figure out, what have I said about that company to where is hate. Because I don't speak from a hate mentality. I said Jay Cargill was, probably could live more than everybody in AEW. And then I included myself.
Right.
And the quote goes up, Booker T speaks it, says what he believes, that every, Jay Cargill can outlive everybody in AEW. Boom, quote. That's it. which that is the quote, but people are looking for something, like I said last week, like an ex-girlfriend, you know, looking through your cell phone, looking for a reason to make up a fight, looking for a reason for conflict. You know what I mean? And for me, that is just, I don't know, man. It's just out of touch. It's out of bounds with me and my utopia and where I want to be in life.
I feel that, man. And I knew that I know it's going to happen. And you know what's so funny is now stories like that, they make me chuckle more than they irk me. Because it's like, obviously, these are people just looking for clicks. You know what? And what I found out, by the way, and I think I found it out, I don't listen to, and just because it's not because I'm averse to it, I just don't find myself listening to Conan and Disco a lot. But every now and then their clips pop up in my YouTube feed. And I listened to one, and I think Conan or Disco says some of these sites are like AI, right? And they have an algorithm that generates an article based off of like a YouTube clip or something. And there's not even a human being writing it some of the times on these wrestling sites.
Wow.
So there's like just you might want to get with Disco. I think it was him who said that. I'd like to know what site he was talking about, because he said there's like a big site that does it. And that would explain some of it, because sometimes I read these and I go, who is it?
No, I'm not going to even say who it probably is. You know what I mean? But
don't even say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. We don't need to shine a light on anybody who doesn't deserve the light of 2023 to be shown upon them. But let's not bury the lead here. The Nature Boy Ric Flair will be in the building in the Hall of Fame. And what more fitting individual than the first two-time Hall of Famer and a guy who really, I mean, it's incredible.
I can't wait. I'm serious, man. I can't wait to go down the road with Ric Flair and just talk about, you know, the business, you know, and you know what the business, you know, pretty much how it started to where we are now. You know, what made this thing so special. And that's what I always love about the business, the special parts about it. Me and Charmian, we talk about it all the time as far as, you know, what a great ride, you know, we had coming through that WCW time, you know, through the WWF, you know what I mean? Got a chance to touch that. And then, you know, the WWE ride. It's been so freaking awesome to have been a part of this thing, you know. So that right there, man, it's priceless. It really is. The countries, the cities, the people, the clubs. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like I say, I mean, going out in England, oh man, one of my best nights, man. One of my most fun nights, man, hanging out in England, man. The brothers over there treated me real good. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame, man. We'll be back in a minute.
Will Allday versus Cameron Cole. Texas champion versus Reality of Wrestling champion. Years in the making. Ex-best friend versus ex-best friend. I know what I'm getting into. I know you're one of the most exciting, high-flying wrestlers in the business today. And for every punch you have, Will, I know the counter punch. Long ago, the years where we used to train together, and I remember every move. I remember everything in your arsenal, Will. So what is it gonna take? You see, for me, I'll do whatever it takes, and you're going to find that out, Will.
Will Allday versus Cam Cole once again. But this time it's going to be different. It's not going to be best friend versus best friend now. It's not going to be me looking in your eyes knowing that at the end of this, we just want to see who the better man is. Yeah, let's talk about that match. And Cam, I knew getting into the ring with you then how good you were. Cam, I know now that you're even more dangerous. But Cam, you straight. Ever since you and I faced in that last match, a year ago, something changed. And you started walking down this dark path where you would do anything to win, Cam. And you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like weakness.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. And guys, it's January 2nd, 2023, and I just got some breaking news. Naomi is slated to be in Japan ahead of New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17. Naomi, she's booked. That is big
Well,
news. What?
I don't know if she's booked for the show.
What she said, they say Naomi is reportedly set to travel to Tokyo, and that's Narita Airport. I think that's it. That is in Tokyo. That's in Japan. That's in the big city.
So this is what I'm reading according to SEScoops.com. Again, Sasha Banks, we know, is going to be at the New Japan show. Not sure her involvement there, but it sounds like she's going to work out a deal with them after a WWE buyout. But it does say this. Banks' former tag team partner Trinity and Naomi Fatu will also be in Japan, according to PW Insider. Hold on. However, the report noted sources in New Japan would not confirm they are bringing in Naomi and intimated she was coming in on her own accord.
She's just taking a trip to Japan.
That's what this article seems like, but they could be trying to throw us off the scent. You know what I mean? It is weird how we haven't heard anything about Naomi. Like if she's still with the company, if she got a buyout, like Sasha got a buyout, or whatever the situation was. I don't know if it was a buyout, but worked out a new contract or didn't work out a new contract.
I was just reading this article too, and they say she was coming in on her own car. She's going to buy her own ticket. You know what I mean? And it's coming from Wrestling Observer, and I don't like giving them too much credit, but that's they normally write on stuff like this. But I don't know, man. Naomi needs to get back to work. She needs to get back to work quickly. Seriously, time is ticking. And one thing about this business, I've said it once, I said 1,000 times, your worst enemy is time off. Time off is your worst enemy in this business. You need to be on TV, and you need to be on TV periodically if you want to be one of those pillars, if you want to be one of those staples on the show.
I totally agree with you, Book.
You're breaking up on me. What's on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is Brad, you there? Oh, shucky ducky. Brad is frozen on me. His system is down again. Here we go. Let me refresh here. Brad. Bradley. I don't know if you can hear me right now, Brad. But I'm going to keep the thing rolling, man. Right now, it seems like Brad having a little technical difficulty, but we're talking about Naomi stepping. There he is. You're back?
There we are, Book.
Back?
I'm back.
I'm making sure, man. I'm just making sure. I was talking about just finna get ready to roll on without you, man.
Well, the thing was, you started talking spicy. You know what I mean? You started talking spicy. I thought, I didn't know. I didn't want to be a part of the conversation, so I left. I just left for
yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are you talking about, spicy? Just talking about
I thought you were about to say something that I don't know whatever you're gonna say, Books.
No, just like somebody in the comments said, Brad is down. Brad is down. Brad is down. How about that?
Well, hey, this is our final segment. I wish we could talk more about Naomi, but we have to get to a couple of super chats here before we leave the show today. This is from Alex Cosentino, who said, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but if you are in the Royal Rumble, can we please get the classic no, yes, head shake, looking into that big old 5-time hand into the explosive jump? Dig it.
Hey, man, you know what? If I get the invite, I definitely will. I think the people will, pop off the can you dig it, sucker. You know what I mean? That's who I am. That's who I be. And hopefully I'll get that little envelope in the mail real soon, man. Because I'm training, I'm in shape, I'm prepared, and the thing is, if I do it, it's gonna be the best spinneroonie you ever seen in your life.
Well, last I checked, you've been checking your mail the last 3 or 4 years, and that invite hasn't shown up yet. So, it could have gotten lost in the mail.
It's like smoking mirrors, man. When I used to dance, you know what I mean? I used to tell them young guys, man, no, I ain't gonna dance against you, man. I just bluffing, you know what I mean? So I don't even know if I want to. It's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotta love it. This is here's another one from Bill Tyrell, who said, on your promo skills, would you consider managing someone that would thrive with a mouthpiece, such as JBL or Heyman? I'm assuming you'd be them, not managing JBL or Heyman.
No, man, I don't want that job, man. I don't want that job trying to, be a mouthpiece for one of these guys. I don't want to try to relive, the old days of being out there anywhere near that 20 by 20. That 20 by 20, I don't know. I got a phobia about being around the ring. I love training and doing stuff from an outside perspective, like the stuff I'm doing with A&E, like training my students and whatnot. I can get in the ring and, actually do stuff. But actually being around a WWE ring and actually having to do that, I just don't see it. I just don't feel it.
Yeah. And I think you've talked about this before, but it has to be the right situation, right? I like the idea of Baron and JBL together. I can't say that I've like followed it closely, so I'd like to see kind of how that's going. But Heyman, I guess this is my point. Heyman is great. I think everybody would accept that as almost a fact, not opinion. Like Heyman is great at what he does. As far as manager mouthpiece, one of the best ever. But even Heyman, like some people think, oh, well, if this guy just has a mouthpiece to talk for him, he'll get over. If you give him someone like Heyman, he'll get over. Well, I think Curtis Axel might disagree with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Antonio Cesaro at the time might disagree with you. Just because you put someone who has a good promo with someone else doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get them to the level that you want them to be on, or you think that they could be on. I mean, you're square peg and round hole. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Heyman works, because he's been around so long. Heyman, with Brock Lesnar, that thing worked because those two guys, been together forever, and it's just something that feels natural. But you put Heyman with some new guy, I don't think it's going to feel as natural. I don't think it's going to work out as good. You know what I mean? And one thing about me, I'm a big, a big fan of, trying to get as many older faces off the show as I possibly can. Okay. And it's no diss to any of the older guys or anything like that. The older guys are, I always, use the equation to where, I'm gonna put these young guys in the driver's seat and I'm gonna sit in the passenger seat and I'm gonna navigate and I'm gonna sleep the whole ride. Okay, you're gonna drive. You're gonna get us there, and that's the way I see the business. That's the way I see reality of wrestling. I'm the oldest face on there, and I saw somebody on social media said you're the owner of the company and you book yourself. You book yourself as the champion, just like most indie promoters. And if you was at reality of wrestling and you saw it and you understood it, you think otherwise. You go, wow, this is a pretty good idea. For the boss to actually step in and take the place of the tag team champion because he's hurt and he's out. You know what I mean? How many bosses are going to do that? That's a Vince McMahon move. You know what I mean? So the business is, like I say, is a business.
Bottom line, it's a business. Well, Book, this is what I say. We're really excited for Ric Flair to be here later on in the week. If you have a question for Rick that you want us to answer or ask him so he can answer, you can send it in to bookersocialmedia@gmail.com. That's bookersocialmedia@gmail.com. Or you can tweet it to us at Brad Gilmore at BookerT5X. I think that is one of the greatest ways we could kick off 2020.
We ain't gonna get none of those questions in. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'll tell you. You better super chat it if you want it for Ric Flair. Okay. That I'm gonna tell you that right there. If you want to super chat it, a question for Ric Flair, we'll get it in there. It better be a good question. Otherwise, it's not good. We're gonna reject it. It's that simple, because that's gonna be precious time, and we're gonna be talking about some real serious issues as far as excuse me, as far as what's going down with this damn business today. All right, and it's gonna get a whole lot of clicks. Everybody's going to pick it up on all these sites, because it's going to be a hot take for 2 hours. Okay, well, however long we have it, it might be
2 hours would be great. That'd be great.
Serious. It might be 2 hours. But Rick,
you could ask Rick what he had for breakfast, and all of a sudden you're like 45 minutes in, and he's cutting the promo. Like,
exactly my point. So this right here, guys, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to get shut out on Thursday's show, guys, because the Nature Boy Ric Flair will be stepping. The 2-time Hall of Famer will be stepping inside the Hall of Fame with the 2-time Hall of Fame. I had to fix that right, because I'm a 2-time Hall of Famer as well.
4 Hall of Fame rings we're gonna have on the show.
Chop it up right here inside the Hall of Fame. Hey man, thank you guys for a little bit of your time, man. It's New Year's, man. Happy New Year to all you guys out there. Be safe, man. Make sure this year is your best year. Let's get it done, man. Like I say, guys, tomorrow night, NXT, if you're around, make sure you check your boy out, because it's going to be a great moment. I will be dropping the new Fave 5 for 2023 as well. Bradley, as always, man, I appreciate you. Guys, peace. Thursday, we out.